Hello everyone, welcome back to more AEW on TEW20202. We are here in the 4th week of September in 2021. Surprisingly, not actually starting off with being the Elite, as Taz and Shelber announced that we are having some long episodes of Dark in the next few weeks. We're going to have 2 tournaments coming up. The second one of the women's tag team tournaments, which is... I'd imagine that's something that was just, announced on Twitter and the universe, so don't worry about that. And then one other tournament that will be announced on Dynamite starting next week. We start off with Kylan King and Kenzie Page defeating Lavender Sky and Danny Jordan. Kylan King, both the former two were out on an excursion in... Tokyo Joshi Pro, I think they went to TEW20202. Lavender Sky, she is part of the Reawakened group. We'll see another group there. Of course, Reawakened Wrestling, another TEW YouTuber. Is way more popular than me. Probably most people who would watch this would be aware of Rick's series, Lavender Sky. My patron prospect from that. But she is starting off with a loss because... I can't be too biased towards my own creations, and small penalty star quality. Oh well. Jimmy Shane then defeats Hideki Okatani. Jimmy Shane, he is also part of that group, although he is actually a real wrestler. I'm actually in a Discord with him, so it's a bit of a shame that he has penalty to microphone, but oh well, Jimmy Shane, glad to have him aboard. Mayu Iwatani and Riho defeat Shotzi Blackheart and Chris Statlander in easily the marquee match of the tournament. Riho pins Shotzi and Mayu with a 69 performance. Very nice for that. The Future then defeats Fuego del Sol and Lee Johnson. And after the match, the Acclaimed come out and do a rap about the Future, which I am not going to do because I can't rap. And say that the Future only has any notoriety because they're aligned with Fergal Devitt, that they haven't proven themselves at all on a real scale. But because they're aligned with Devitt, Antonio Banks has set them as an easy target to go and get more recognition for the group, for the Acclaimed, for the entirety of the bankroll. Jessamine Duke then defeats cheerleader Melissa. The Best Friends defeat Top Flight. DKE does not defeat Utami Hayashishita and Raven Creed. DKE, they are also part of that Reawakened stuff. They're some of the more oh wow, that's actually very fitting for hams to be extremely marketable, but oh well. But in the end, it does go to Utami and Raven Creed. After this, Dark cuts to Jordan Grace with her partner for the women's tag team tournament, Julia Grace, my bad, in the gym. And Jordan Grace says, Riho, when we look at this bracket, we know that you're one of the favorites, especially with you already winning, and also having Mayu Iwatani as a partner, but that's not going to change things. Ugh. See, I'm on a mission to prove myself, and I'm going to take you down. I won't be able to see you until the finals, but I expect you to be there. Got it? So Jordan Grace still... trying to get after Riho, because Riho, very good competitor, that Jordan Grace feels like she could be equal with. Anna Jay and Tay Conti defeat Elena Black and Max the Impaler. Max the Impaler with a pretty solid 34. And then our main event of Dark, Hiromu Takahashi defeats a debuting Tony Deppen. Tony Deppen, just brought him in. It's pretty good. I mean, 52 for a debut match. Not bad at all. 54 rating. A little bit weak for a Dark... especially recently. I think we've been getting 60s, but oh well. Had some downer matches, but it's fine, and we'll move on to Dynamite. Our show begins with the Lucha Brothers taking on the Revoluchas. Very confusing tag names, but the Lucha Brothers, they pick up the win. They really perform well. Everyone performed well in this match. 80 rating, fantastic. And then Vicky Guerrero enters the ring after the match, and, the whole excuse me gimmick. My late great husband had the vision of Latino wrestlers the worldwide to band together to prove their dominance, but some people in this company have declined this. Dragon Lee, Bandito, Santana, Ortiz, and El Hijo del Vikingo have refused to join us. But I've brought in other stars from Mexico to help us out. As she says this, she looks towards the ramp, and maybe they're like a second passes before Vikingo is tossed into the middle of the ramp, and then followed up by Daga and Homicide. Penta and Phoenix then make their way to the ramp. Vega also behind. Penta hits Vikingo with a package pile driver before the new members of the Latino World Order head backstage. Really just wanted to, bring in some more members of the LWO. It's going to be a fairly big stable, fairly big heel stable. I know I have so few of them, but good mid-card. Phoenix definitely is someone who deserves to be in the world title picture, and I'm hoping that the LWO stuff can actually get him towards that level. But Daga and Homicide, both fairly good Latino wrestlers, and they've declared war on Vikingo. Now, Heyman announces the face of the Revolution tournament. So, I was kind of thinking, alright, I want to have, some of the people in Discord that I'm a part of for TEW were going through a Money in the Bank, and I realized, I want to have something for a Money in the Bank, but I don't want it to be an obvious ripoff. So, what was suggested was a round-robin tournament. We have 10 people in this. We have Andrew Everett, Ray Phoenix, Donovan Dijak, Kip Sabian, Vikingo. We have Isaiah Cassidy, I couldn't actually read my writing there, Jonathan Gresham, Nathaniel Murphy, Ricky Starks, and Fred Yehi. All round-robin tournament. The top 6 will get a ladder match, which will likely be a main event on a Dynamite. Winner of that will get a chance to go against they'll have a title shot at their choosing, any time of their choosing, against any title with any fair stipulation. So, by fair stipulation, I mean no handicap matches. It's something that, on paper, both sides are equally footed on, however you do words. But, running through this, we have, those 10, it'll be round robin, 4 last places, they don't get into the ladder match, but, yeah, this isn't going to be something like, the cash-in at the end of some other match. It can be something just as simple, there has to be, at least 1 week in preparation. They have to give notice that when they're going to do this title shot, what the stipulation is. Honestly, special referee could be the one. So there's definitely avenues for cheating with this, but no cash-ins after a long, grueling match. Chris Jericho then defeats Scott Steiner, the code breaker. And afterwards, MJF comes to the ramp, clapping sarcastically, and says, "Congratulations, Chris. You're really showing me that you're worthy of being a good contest for me when I make my way back to the world title picture. You managed to beat up old Scott Steiner, who hasn't wrestled in years. You already look exhausted. Look, Chris, you're not going to be able to do anything against me. You're old and washed up, and you're not even fit to lace my boots anymore, and you probably couldn't even get up if you tried. Sure, you're one of the greats of yesteryear, but it's time to show who's really the GOAT nowadays, Chris." As he finishes this, the North and Chris Bay slide into the ring. They begin to beat down Jericho, much to MJF's amusement. MJF, Chris Jericho, still going at each other, but MJF really just leaning into the fact that Jericho's 50. Another vignette then begins to play, as it shows the Hardy compound. Rosemary's there with Utami Hayashishita and Joey Janela. She announces that the resurrection of the Arisen One will occur soon. I think it was the Arisen One I have the title as. Followers have long sought a place for the resurrection. The Hardy compound will more than suffice. She says the preparations must be finalized. The compound, and more importantly, the Lake of Reincarnation must be secured. How are we going to resurrect how are we going to do an Arisen One? How are we going to do a culty thing without the Lake of Reincarnation, especially if we have access to it? Joey Janela, I am going to turn him heel, and he's an extreme cultist. Ooh. Maybe I'll start doing things with Joey Janela. Jonathan Gresham then defeats Colt Cabana. And then Antonio Banks enters the ring after the match, and he waits for the crowd to be mostly quiet for him to start speaking. Because the face of the Revolution ladder match is really something that everyone should be excited about. I mean, look around, everyone in that tournament is a fantastic competitor, but there's two names in particular that I'm interested in. First is the most overlooked, underrated man in AEW, Jonathan Gresham. The other is the former big signing, Donovan Dijak. And you know what? Since last year, there's been a lot of big signings, and Dijak was supposed to be one of them. But all he's been is fodder for Brutality Inc., and all he's going to be is fodder for Jonathan Gresham's victory. I don't really care if you're some sort of brutalizer, Dijak. You're just going to see how everyone here is going to see how good Gresham is, and why he deserves more pay than he's getting now. The bankroll, this whole stable, they're about making money. Jonathan Gresham, he's had a shit record. Probably is going to be, he's actually making a pretty fair amount of money right now. I think he's getting like $1,000 per show, which, not great, not awful. But, I mean, you'd realistically think someone with a really good record is going to have really good pay in kayfabe. So Banks wants to get that up. Gresham, now, like 2 for 11. Gresham, horrible record. I've used him horribly, and honestly, the pairing with the bankroll is something that I'm really hoping will make things better. Now, after this, we cut to backstage where we see Fuka alongside Taichi and Minoru Suzuki. The members of the Suzuki-gun speak in Japanese before Fuka translates. And she says that New Japan wanted more prestige for their IWGP US Championship, so the reigning champion Taichi Ishikari has arrived to offer and accept challenges on Dynamite. Taichi has made a challenge next week for the, quote, traitor to Suzuki-gun in Zack Sabre Jr. Minoru Suzuki, however, wants to see if AEW is even a worthwhile promotion for New Japan to really worry about, to be concerned about, to be associated with, because I have done the Forbidden Door Alliance, basically. I don't really have anyone from New Japan that I particularly want exclusive to my roster, but plenty of people that I'm willing to take loans for. And we'll see how things go from here. Start off pretty slow, pretty low-key, with, Minoru Suzuki, very low-key, and Taichi for the US Championship. After this, we give Rami Sabay's in-ring debut as he defeats Brody King, who debuts as well, the Blue Thunder driver. And while they're showing replays of the finish, Sammy Guevara has rushed into the ring and beats down Rami Sabay. Ace Austin and Jake Hager soon make their way into the ring as well, and the trio begin to beat down Sabay, with Sammy declaring that Rami is not welcome in the company just to steal a spot from the homegrown talent. As Hager is about to hit Sabay with a powerbomb, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus rush in from backstage. They fight with Ace and Sammy, and while that's happening, Marco Stunt hops onto Hager's back, allowing Sabay to slip free, and eventually ends with Sabay hitting Hager with a haluva kick. The 3 members of the Inner Circle run off angrily, yelling at Sabay and what seem to be his new friends in the Jurassic Express. Combining a few stories here with the Inner Circle, and maybe we could have some really interesting trios matches. I haven't had a trios match in a while, but we could do something with, maybe Rami, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus versus Sammy, Hager, and Austin. Who knows? After this, we see a small vignette where they're at a bar when Private Party and the Godfather are celebrating Isaiah's inclusion into the tournament. Isaiah Cassidy says that he plans to win back the tag titles with the title shot given by the ladder match. Mark and the Godfather both assure him that, he does what's necessary. If you want to go for the, if you think going for the TNT title is fine, we're not offended by that. We can just have both titles. However, their casual revelry is interrupted by the Butcher and the Blade, coming in from behind them and easily beating them up. The beatdown ends with the Butcher and the Blade throwing Quen over the bar and into the shelf behind it. Whole thing crashes down, lots of bottles break. The entire time this is happening, the bunny is distracting the Godfather by virtue of just being attractive, and the 3 heels eventually leave. Mark Quen completely taken out. Isaiah Cassidy, he's reeled down. Godfather's like, oh crap, I screwed up somewhere. When we get back from that vignette and the commercial break, we see Dean Malenko in the middle of the ring, and he announced that because of the longer Dark episodes, the match between Jessamine Duke and Kairi Hojo has been moved to this Dynamite and is happening now. I forgot that I was supposed to do Jessamine Duke versus Kairi Hojo on that last Dark. So we're doing it now. And Jessamine Duke actually gets the surprise win. That was not what I had told it to do. Match ends with AJ Mendez coming in and attacking. Starts with Duke, which gets Duke actually the victory. Mendez manages to keep both down, and really, it's kind of... She manages to get Jessamine Duke down because she's exhausted from the match with Kairi. And then she keeps Mendez keeps a foot onto Kairi's neck. And then Mendez is yelling at Kairi how she's ruining women's wrestling with her silly gimmick. She keeps applying pressure until Maki Ito arrives. Takes out Mendez, then she gets taken down by Penelope Ford, who hits Maki with a super kick. Ford is the last one standing in the ring when TNT champion Garza and her, I think it's fiance at this point in game, Kit Sabian, proudly walk in. They're presenting themselves, look how cool we are. And they're yelling at Malenko. He's old, he's washed up, he's not pretty. The Rose Garden, just doing heel things. Kind of a train wreck to end the show so far. Until we get to here, where Fergal Devitt defeats Jon Moxley in just under the 20-minute time limit. 77 rating. Afterwards, Minoru Suzuki marches into the ring, and he glares at Devitt and then simply shakes his head before picking Jon Moxley up, and he starts chopping Moxley to hell. Devitt goes over to try to stop Suzuki, but Suzuki is too fresh, so he manages to counter Devitt, deliver some hard chops to him as well. Ends with a close-up of Suzuki before it pans, zooms out a little bit to show him glaring at Jon Moxley. Presumably, that will be a match coming up. 80 rating, a little bit better than I thought, especially with the pretty slow end of the show. But, I mean, really helped out with a few really good segments. Good main event, good opener. Rami Sabay's in-ring debut did very well. Lots of stuff going on, and next week, well, what I'm doing for the round robin tournament is I'm going to have 4 matches on Dark. 4 matches on Dark, 1 on Dynamite. Basically, have like a marquee match on Dynamite. For each week, this will probably be something. Might be, so it'll be 9 weeks, will be in December, so probably like 2nd week of December, maybe it'll be the Christmas special, I don't know. But, that will do it, and next time we'll see what happens in AEW.